I was a good-for-nothing trust fund brat, living on autopilot. One day, my superstitious little fling dragged me to get our fortunes told. The fortune teller, looking all solemn and serious, dropped a bombshell with a straight face. Congratulations. Your future husband will screw you 8 times a day. Loneliness will never be your problem again. It was a slap in the face, plain and direct. I was so furious I flipped his whole stall and called him a scammer to his face. Who the hell didn't know I was a die-hard straight man? Even if I messed around with men, I'd be the one on top. But then our family went bankrupt. A big shot offered to help us rise from the ashes, but only if I agreed to be his legally wedded spouse. As in, marriage certificate and all. My sister didn't even blink. She scrubbed me clean, prettied me up, and handed me over like a gift. And guess who the future husband turned out to be? The damn fortune teller. He bit my lip until it bled, pinned me down on the bed, and raised an eyebrow with a grin. I wasn't lying, he said. 8 times a day? I meant every word. Welcome to He History Channel. Subscribe to follow all our latest adventures. Story begins. Every family has its own mess. Mine just happens to have 3. My sister's a lesbian. My brother's gay. And me? I'm straight, but sterile. My parents wore the same look of quiet despair every day, but honestly, I didn't see the problem. If anything, it meant I'd save money on condoms. Besides, I was a born flirt, never planning on settling down, much less getting married and having kids. My latest fling was a college student. Cute, but annoyingly superstitious. She insisted on dragging me to get our fortunes told. The moment I saw that so-called fortune teller, I realized what he was really selling, and it wasn't divination. The man was gorgeous. Tall, broad-shouldered, lean waist, sharp features, eyes like stars under those slanted brows. He had that kind of quiet, dangerous confidence that made you want to stare twice. If I'd been a woman, I probably would have fallen for him too. But really, with those hands and that face, he could have done anything. Why waste it running a con? He gave me a lazy smile and raised an eyebrow. Mr. Russell, what are we reading today? Relationship status? What kind of partner are you looking for? It's not for me. My girlfriend wants one. I crossed my arms, a little thrown by his overfamiliar tone. Girlfriend? His smile vanished, eyes darkening in an instant. Sorry, I'm off the clock. My brows furrowed. He was fine 2 seconds ago. What, now he suddenly couldn't do it? What the hell was his problem? Another couple walked up behind us, and without a glance my way, he greeted them with all the enthusiasm he'd just withdrawn from me. That did it. I'd never had a good temper, and being deliberately ignored set me off. So what, you're just refusing to read ours on purpose? He met my glare, nodded honestly. Yeah. I nearly flipped his whole damn stall. My girlfriend tugged on my arm, forcing a laugh. Alex, let it go, okay? I'm hungry. Let's just go eat. I shot the bastard one last look, flipped him off for good measure, and started to walk away, only for him to step right back in front of me, that infuriating smirk returning. Bad temper, he said lightly, but a lucky love line. I raised an eyebrow. Obviously. I've got money and looks. When have I ever lacked women? My girlfriend blushed and giggled. Master, will we be happy together? He shook his head. You'll break up soon. Her smile froze. Then he looked straight at me, eyes glinting. You, on the other hand, will marry a man. Big guy, great stamina. He'll fuck you 8 times a day. He leaned back, utterly calm. You won't be lonely, cold, or bored again. Ever. Enough was enough. I smashed his stall to pieces. The couple screamed and bolted. Here for your damn shop. I pulled a handful of bills from my wallet and slapped them against his face. The notes scattered like red snow. Next time, learn to keep that mouth shut. Without waiting for a reaction, I grabbed my girlfriend's hand and stormed off, completely missing the small, satisfied curve of his lips. Of course, that relationship didn't last long. None of mine did. But men? Never. I wasn't homophobic, but I sure as hell wasn't gay. I was straight as steel, unbending and unbreakable. When I got home, my sister and her girlfriend were standing at the door with suitcases in hand. "Where are you two going this time?" I asked dryly. "Go somewhere far, will you? Save me from getting nagged to death." My sister shook her head. "The family's bankrupt. We owe a fortune." I froze. "What? So you're running away? And you didn't think to tell me first?" I turned to rush inside and grab whatever valuables I could, but she grabbed my arm. "There's a man," she said quickly. "A powerful one. He says he can help the Jeffrey family recover, but he wants one of us in return." A chill ran down my spine. "Who?" She hesitated. "You." "What?" Her girlfriend grinned awkwardly. "Yeah, you're getting married. Congratulations." I went pale. "You're kidding, right? It's not April Fool's Day." My sister sighed. "I wish I were. But if sacrificing one of us means saving the whole family, it's worth it." "Darling," she told her girlfriend, "grab him." They were both soldiers. Pinning me down was child's play. They stripped me, scrubbed me clean, and delivered me that same night, freshly washed and gift-wrapped, to my so-called future husband. Before leaving, my brother patted me on the shoulder and whispered, "Don't fight it. Bend over, it hurts less that way. And do your own foreplay." Years of experience, I supposed, gained the hard way. They dropped me off at the man's mansion and left without a backward glance. The place was bigger than our entire estate. Thankfully, I didn't have to carry my luggage myself. The butler and a small army of staff handled that. I just stood there, numb, realizing that my life had officially been sold, complete with delivery service. They shoved me into a bedroom before I could even process what was happening. The butler, a kindly old man, smiled in that practiced, gentle way. "Mr. Jeffrey, Mr. Russell will be home around 6 this evening. Please, make yourself comfortable. Ring the bell if you need anything." He was about to leave when I grabbed his sleeve. "Wait, you're Mr. Russell? Does he have some kind of deficiency? Is he ancient? Hideous? He's not a monster, right? He must be some ugly old freak. Why else would he prey on my family's downfall to ruin me? And honestly, could you blame me for thinking that? A man with his kind of money, if he looked even halfway decent, would have people lining up for him, men or women." The butler only chuckled. "You'll see for yourself soon enough, Mr. Jeffrey." I tried to ask more, but he slipped out before I could stop him. I sat there on the bed, fuming. I couldn't just sit here and wait to be ravaged by some wrinkled old man. If he was that rich and still single, something had to be wrong with him, and if he was incapable, I'd be the one stuck doing the ravaging. The thought made my stomach turn. I needed to escape. I eyed the window. 5th floor. Jumping meant either death or to lifelong limp. The door creaked open. Crap. He was here. I dove under the blanket, muttering, "You can't see me, you can't see me, you can't see me." He clearly didn't care for magic or mercy. The blanket was yanked off, a firm hand spun me over, and before I could think, I dared a peek, then instantly slammed my eyes shut again. Shit. This had to be a dream. I cracked one eye open just a little. The monster was that damn fortune teller. He smirked, a low chuckle vibrating in his throat. In that moment, I decided that if there was a god, he clearly hated me. He stepped closer. I squeezed my eyes shut tighter. "Don't come near me. I shouldn't have flipped your table. I shouldn't have called you a scammer. I was wrong, I'm sorry. Just let me go, please, sir." He didn't care whether my eyes were open or not. With casual strength, he pushed me onto the bed. Pants gone. Underwear gone. A sharp pat on my ass. More sting than pain. My face went crimson. I snapped my eyes open, glaring. "You shameless bastard. Pervert." He had the nerve to look innocent. "You're my wife, aren't you? What's wrong with me touching you, Mrs. Russell?" He smiled wickedly. "Be good. Your husband wants you." I cursed him through my teeth, kicked at him, but he caught my ankle and spread my legs with infuriating ease. Leaning down, his voice dropped to a dark, dangerous whisper. "If you don't want this, leave now. But if you do, the Jeffrey family breaks the deal. The Russell family pulls every cent of support. Your whole clan will go down because of your little tantrum. Beast. Bastard. My strength drained. I went still, staring blankly at the ceiling, every muscle trembling. He paused. Something flickered across his eyes. He leaned in and kissed the corner of my eye, soft, almost gentle. Force isn't my thing, he murmured. I'll make you beg for it willingly. He straightened his clothes, lips curling. You'll see soon enough. I wasn't lying that day. I really can fuck you 8 times a day. Then he left. Just like that. Didn't even look back. There I was, bare-assed, humiliated, shivering in the draft. I'd stripped plenty of people in my life, but this was the first time someone else stripped me. And of all people, it had to be a man. No gentlemanly decency whatsoever. He didn't even help me pull my pants back up. I sat there for a long time, face burning, too mortified to move. When I finally got dressed, I wanted to run. I really did. But then I thought of my family, of the debts. That bastard wore his righteousness like a mask. Maybe I could endure, for now. I needed insurance. Maybe I could slip him something permanent. If I did it right, he'd never get it up again, and I'd keep my end of the deal without losing anything. He couldn't exactly call off the investment without admitting his, issue. Perfect plan. I was going to turn him into a eunuch. A friend got me a potent drug. Supposedly, it dulled all desire, harmless to women, devastating to men. Half a packet would take down a lion. I used the whole thing. I stirred it into a bowl of black goji porridge and carried it to his study. Didn't even bother knocking. He was working, focused, sharp, and damn it, good-looking. When he looked up at me, my heart did this stupid skip. I forced a smile and walked over, bowl trembling in my hands. Jaden, I said, the name sour on my tongue. Have some porridge. His lips curved. Bring it here. He took one glance at it and frowned. It's purple. Is it poisoned? I froze. It's black goji. That's the color. Blame the drug. The powder was black, only this porridge could hide it. He still looked suspicious, so I rushed to cover. You're my husband, why would I poison you? Kill your libidos. Poisono. He smiled faintly, stood up and took the bowl, then raised it to my lips. Such a sweet wife. You take the first sip. I know young people like ceremony. Touching, isn't it? No need. I waved frantically. Drink, he said, voice firm, eyes cold. Or we could skip dinner and make. Make what? I blinked, genuinely confused. I can make you another bowl? His grin widened. He set the bowl down and slowly pulled off his belt, eyes fixed on me, the leather whispering through the loops. The sound made every hair on my neck stand up. Cooking's for the staff, he said softly. You have other duties to fulfill as Mrs. Russell. Now, kneel. My knees went weak. I spun to bolt, but he grabbed my arm, slammed me against the desk. Pain shot up my spine. I gasped. What the hell are you doing? Don't. My sister won't let you get away with this. You're nothing but a... He pressed a knee to my back, his hand trailing down to slap my ass lightly again. Drugging me, he said, voice low and dangerous. You've got more guts than I thought. I panicked. Bullshit. You have no proof. Without evidence, this is just slander. The most important thing between partners is trust. If you don't even have that, what's left? The more guilty I felt, the faster I talked. You're treating me like some outsider, that's why you don't trust me. I came all the way from the Jeffrey family with nothing. No family, no friends, and now you're accusing me like this. If you hate me that much, I can leave. You don't have to humiliate me on purpose. Jaden's eyes darkened. He stood up, adjusted his collar, and said evenly, Fine. I'll give you a chance then. He told the butler to call someone for testing. Then he lit a cigarette, leaned against the table, and sneered. Don't move. Stay down. His voice was low, almost a growl. If they find anything, you're not getting up again. I'll fuck you until you can't walk. I knew his men were efficient, but I didn't think they'd be that fast. Before I could even think of an excuse for the anti-libido drug I'd slipped him, the test came back. Caught red-handed. Game over. Jaden's face was thunderous. He yanked down my pants, stubbed out his cigarette right over my crotch. I froze. He wasn't bluffing. If this went any further, my little buddy was next. A complete maniac. A terrifying, beautiful maniac. He tossed the lab report in my face, his hand shaking as he pulled off his belt. "On your knees or on your stomach," he said through clenched teeth. "Either way, something's getting punished." At that point, resisting would have been suicide. Between pride and survival, I chose survival. By the time he was done, my jaw ached like hell. That night, I couldn't sleep a wink. I rolled in bed, cursing his ancestors back 18 generations, brushing my teeth again and again, and still couldn't get rid of the taste of humiliation. The next day, I was late meeting my girlfriend, Susie McKenna. She didn't know the Jeffrey family was now broke and practically selling me off to survive. To her, everything was the same, demand after demand, gift after gift. The family had long cut off my allowance, saying I was as good as married off. All they left me were 3 or 4 small shops, my so-called dowry. I'd already decided, once I broke up with Susie, I'd give them to her. At least she could sell them. Her parents adored their son and wouldn't even pay his dowry. Susie was expected to make up for it. I wasn't going to let my ex live that kind of miserable life. Now, every cent I spent came from Jaden's supplementary card. He told me I could use it freely, but I was pretty sure that didn't include my girlfriend. And yet, what could I do? I couldn't exactly tell her, "Hey, my husband's footing the bill." I had some pride left. "I'll get you that purse and those earrings in a few days," I said, rubbing my nose guiltily. "Your grandpa's birthday's coming, right? He adores you. I should buy him something nice too." Made me look generous, and I could still explain the expense later. She blushed, giggling. "You're so thoughtful. He loves tea, let's get him some good leaves." "Sure," I sighed in relief. Then my phone rang. Jaden. I nearly dropped it. Last night I'd signed the house rules. When Jaden called, I had to answer, or risk losing my most precious asset. But if he found out I was with my girlfriend, I'd lose my life. I shoved the credit card into Susie's hand. "Use it however you like. I'll be right back." I hurried off to find a quiet spot to take the call, never realizing Susie wanted to surprise me by buying some toys with Jaden's card. "Hello," I answered, voice shaking. Jaden's tone was smooth, amused. "Sweetheart, did you get me a surprise?" My stomach twisted. The surprise? Well, now, was he asking for a gift? The man funded my entire life. How the hell was I supposed to buy him something? He chuckled softly. "You know exactly what I like. Can't wait to see you tonight, baby." Even after he hung up, I was completely lost. What the hell was he talking about? Maybe he also liked tea leaves. I rolled my eyes. All this fuss over a bit of tea, acting like it was something scandalous. To be safe, I bought another pack, said it was for my parents, then left Susie with a smile. Jaden's driver was already waiting for me outside the mall. When I got home, Jaden rose from the sofa the moment I stepped in, his eyes practically glowing. "Everyone out," he ordered. The butler and guards quickly withdrew. He walked toward me, smiling. "Baby, take it out. I've been waiting all day." Was he seriously that eager about tea? I grumbled internally, tossed the bag at his chest. "Brew it. I bought 2 packs, one for my folks." He froze, then gave a short laugh. "You're adorable. Stop teasing. Now, take it out. I want to see you wear it." "Wear what?" "The outfit." I blinked. "What outfit? What the hell are you talking about? You're insane." I smelled like sweat from walking around all day and turned toward the bathroom. But Jaden grabbed my arm, yanking me back. His face went cold. "This joke isn't funny. Give it to me." I struggled, furious. "You've lost your mind. It's just tea. Why are you so dramatic?" He let out a laugh, sharp, humorless. In one swift motion, he threw me onto the couch and straddled me, his thigh pinning me down. He pulled out his phone and shoved it in front of my face. On the screen, clear as day, was a transaction record, his secondary card used at an adult store. And right then, my phone started ringing. A video call. From Susie. My face went completely white. I was dead. Jaden's gaze locked on the screen like a blade. I scrambled for words, but my brain went blank. No way out. He grabbed me by the chin and kissed me, hard, fast, messy, almost violent. I bit down hard from the pain, tasting blood in my mouth. It was his. Jaden Russell grunted, pulling back from my lips. Have you ever been with a man before? He asked. One night stands count. I took a deep breath. No. Then I added, proudly and unapologetically, I'm a straight-up, no-nonsense alpha male. I've only topped, and it's always been with women. Good, he said with a smirk. He flipped me over, yanked down my pants, and gave my ass a firm slap. Then it's only right that I take this place first. Clean and untouched. Tell me, sweetheart, who makes you feel better? I ground out, be gentle? Sure, cut her off and I'll consider it. Damn Jaden Russell. One day I will castrate this bastard. Under his relentless pressure, I had no choice but to break up with Susie McKenna. She had terrible timing. All my previous girlfriends got a villa plus 10 million in compensation. But I was broke now. All I could give her were 3 or 4 shops. And while every inch of land in the capital was worth its weight in gold, those few storefronts were in less ideal locations, maybe worth a few million total. Jaden Russell, perhaps afraid I'd keep fooling around, wasted no time dragging me to get our marriage license. We were now legally husband and husband. And honestly, I came to terms with it. The Russell family was wealthier than the Jeffreys, and Jaden was generous to a fault. During the day, he treated me like royalty. At night, well, he served with skill. Way better than when I used to call the shots. There were no annoying in-laws either. He'd burned that bridge long ago. He'd grown up poor, dumped at his grandfather's house while his parents left to find work. Then they had another son elsewhere and decided one kid was enough to abandon. Until his grandfather's house was torn down and they sniffed money. They came back for Jaden, but only because half the payout was legally his when he turned 18. That family got rich off demolition compensation and had zero class, just like now. I was sore all over, barely able to move, and Jaden didn't even pretend to be guilty. He straightened his tie, glanced at me in the mirror with a faint smirk. You brought this on yourself, he said. Flirting with some girl in public. I only did you once, that was Mercy. She climbed into my lap. I snapped. You expect me to throw her off in front of everyone? Whatever, just wait. One day I'll cut it off. Jaden Russell, the darling of the business world. The Jeffrey family was rising again, and our wedding had been a media circus. Both families flew abroad for the ceremony. Gossipers had a field day. Some people even dug up my colorful dating history and insisted I'd been forced into love by Jaden. Now that Jaden had helped elevate the Jeffreys to nearly match his own empire, there were plenty of sharks hoping we'd split. Women tried seducing me. Men tried crawling into his bed. But that thing of his, I'd gotten used to it. I didn't like men, sure. But the thought of divorcing him? God help me, I didn't think I could go back. After Jaden fed me dinner, I laid there bored and mischievous. Hey Jaden, I said. Why do you like me? Was it love at first sight? I know I'm ridiculously good-looking and you're shallow as hell, but I want to hear you say it. He paused mid-cleanup. I liked you for your looks. That's it. I frowned. All my amazing qualities and you went for my face? That's it, he said, wiping his hands and walking over to sit beside me. Disappointed? From the first moment I saw you, I reacted. No denying that, I'm physically into you. But it wasn't at the stall. It was back when you were a junior, giving that speech in your campus auditorium. You were full of fire and ego. I wanted to drag you off stage and take you right there. And just like that, it clicked. The whole fortune teller thing? Not some hobby. That sly bastard had been planning this for years. Still, part of me felt sour. Yeah, I was proud of my face. But now that I was seeing Jaden a little more clearly, I didn't want to think he was just chasing pretty things. I was going to get old someday. Jaden smiled, pinching my sulking cheeks. I am shallow. I like beautiful things. But you're the only one who's ever stayed on my mind. Damn it. I blushed. Mom was right. Never trust a pretty man. The Russell family board of directors was pushing more and more for Jaden to take full control. His parents and little brother couldn't sit still any longer. They invited Jaden to one of their business events. The room would be packed with their people, and people they were trying to win over. Before, they'd always excluded Jaden from things like this. They were terrified he'd outshine their golden boy Keith and push him further from the line of succession. This time, they invited him openly. Even I could tell they were plotting something. I didn't trust them. So I made plans to go with him. I prepared a recorder. I trained Jaden's men to be on standby. If anyone tried anything shady, I'd lead the charge. On the way to this banquet of doom, Jaden looked at my tense posture and laughed. He squeezed my fingers. I slapped his hand away. Be serious. He chuckled and grabbed my hand again. You look like you're heading into a battlefield. I am, I said grimly. They are the battlefield. Today I stand tall. If anyone dares touch you, I'll slap them into next week. I'm Alex Jeffrey. I don't do respect for age or status. Jaden laughed again, turned sideways, and nuzzled into my chest. Then protect me, White Knight. But maybe hold me back a little too. I'm afraid if I lose it, I'll kill them. Then you'd have to wait for me, a widow before your time. As if I'd mourn for you, I snorted, teasing. I'll just find a few new toys. Maybe become a public resource. Share your private property with the world. You dare, Jaden growled, his tone dark and dangerous. I'll kill them, break your legs, and keep you in a wheelchair. That way, you'll sit at home, waiting to be fucked. And that's when I remembered. The man in my arms wasn't some shy little thing. He was a fox. And he'd long since planned how to deal with every last member of that damn family. Damn it, you had a plan and didn't say anything? Had me worrying for days, I grumbled, pushing his head away as I stared out the window, stewing in silence. Jaden Russell leaned against my back, chuckling. You look so adorable when you're stressed over me, White. He licked the edge of my ear. My whole body trembled from the tingling sensation. He laughed low in my ear. Your man's about to face the wolves in there. Think you can let me have a little fun in the car before I go? I didn't say no. My ears burned red. By the time we arrived, my legs were jelly. Sometimes Jaden Russell was a damn beast. He was the star of this so-called banquet, naturally the center of attention. Keith Russell, pretending to be all brotherly, slung his arm around Jaden's shoulder as they walked in. Bro, long time no see. Mom and Dad have missed you so much. Then he turned back and smiled warmly at me. This must be your husband? So pretty. You're one lucky man, bro. I rolled my eyes so hard it hurt. Same DNA, but Keith gave off a slimy, two-faced vibe, unlike Jaden's cool confidence. He was all smiles and sweetness. Every move screamed fake. Jaden returned the smile. I should have visited sooner, but work's been overwhelming. No one to help me shoulder the load. He patted Keith's shoulder in a mockingly affectionate way. Achwan, you should really study how to manage a company. It was never meant to be a one-man job. Keith's face twitched. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. That was Jaden's way of calling him a clueless wannabe. Trying to elbow his way into the leadership team without knowing the first thing about management, plotting with Robin and Tyler to replace Jaden, but lacking the actual ability. Robin and Tyler strolled in fashionably late, trying to play peacemaker. Jaden, Robin said in his usual fake earnest tone, Achwan's your little brother. Teach him well. If you two get along, the whole Jeffrey family benefits. Then came Tyler, the loudmouth of the group, practically yelling insults for all the business elites nearby to hear. You ungrateful brat. Wings are strong now, huh? Haven't visited in years, only come when we beg you. Do you even remember your parents? This family? People around us were clearly enjoying the drama. Jaden just smiled, unmoved. He was used to this. But I wasn't. She thought she could bully him because she was shameless? Too bad I was even more shameless, and definitely didn't believe in respecting my elders. I stepped in front of Jaden, smirking. Tyler, that mouth of yours is venomous. And Robin, still playing your voice of reason act? Tired of hearing you yap. Robin's face darkened. Tyler pointed at me, raging. "You filthy little ass seller." Before she could finish, Jaden reached toward his waist. He was packing. But I beat him to it and slapped her across the face, cutting her off. "I'm no gentleman," I spat. "Man, woman, old or young, I him all." Jaden lived with his grandfather until he was 7 while you ignored him. After that, he lived in the kitchen. You really think all those accidents were coincidences? You monsters pretending to be kind, it makes me sick. They'd planned to tear Jaden down. But it was me who burned the whole show to the ground. Tyler burst into tears. Keith, embarrassed, ordered the guards to escort her away. Veins bulged in his neck, but for the sake of public image, he swallowed it down. Robin was livid. "Jaden Russell. Look at the mad dog you married. He's throwing the Russell family into chaos. Guards, throw them out." Jaden finally dropped his smile. "I'd like to see who dares." No one moved. Truth be told, the board of directors backing Jaden wasn't out of admiration. It was because they were already his people. Jaden's shareholding surpassed Robin's. His position outranked him long ago. Robin took a shaky breath and forced a smile. "Oh come on, me and your mom were just teasing." He turned to the guests. "My son takes after me. Quite the character, isn't he?" The crowd, seasoned professionals, instantly shifted gears, pretending the chaos never happened and laying on the flattery thick. Jaden used the moment to reclaim power Keith had previously stolen. Robin could only grit his teeth and fake a smile. I couldn't help but snort, until I felt a piercing glare aimed right at me. I turned. He quickly masked it with a fake grin, but I knew that look. He was brewing something nasty. What I didn't know was that Keith, in his room, had already smashed his desk and dialed the start of his final plan. And unfortunately, it involved me. But I didn't have the energy to think about that. I'd served Jaden a little too well in the car earlier, and with my excellent oral performance, I'd earned myself a rest day. I was lying in bed scrolling short videos of dancing girls when he caught me. He immediately pinned me down. Wait, you promised. A man keeps his word. If I slipped tonight, I wouldn't be able to walk tomorrow. Jaden snorted and, shockingly, actually let me go. I blinked. That easy? Since when was Jaden Russell so easygoing? Sure, he growled. I'm a man of my word. Tonight you're off the hook. But tomorrow? He leaned down, eyes dark. I'll fuck you so hard on this bed you'll wish I'd broken my promise. He turned to leave. I panicked and grabbed his arm. Wait, actually, let's just get it over with tonight. Based on his capabilities, he wasn't just trash-talking. He could kill me in bed. Jaden didn't crack a smile. Spread 'em. Blushing, I hesitated, then obeyed, swallowing my pride. He leaned over, pinning me beneath him, and bit into my neck. I groaned in pain. Jaden Russell was ruthless to his core. Whatever he did, he never held back. But he stopped. He licked the bite gently, voice hoarse. Tomorrow's your birthday. Can't have the birthday boy unable to stand. He rose to his feet. Come on. I'll help you shower. I exhaled in relief. Carry me. Jaden Russell carried me into the bathroom, gently washed every inch of me, then carried me back to bed. I curled up in his arms, found the most comfortable position, and drifted off to sleep. Jaden invited the entire Jeffrey family to the party. Except, of course, for my parents. Those two lovebirds had once again flown overseas for their nth honeymoon. Everyone else showed up. My sister and her wife were still glued together like conjoined twins. My brother, pale as a ghost, had to be supported the whole time by his husband. As someone who'd been around the block, I recognized that look instantly, and I couldn't help but laugh. Poor, pitiful bottom. Jaden knew I loved crowds, so he sent out a ridiculous number of invites. The more people that came, the more would witness how wealthy and pampered I was now. What was the point of having money if you didn't show off a little? Guests took turns praising Jaden and me, until a certain uninvited guest arrived. Keith Russell walked in with a scantily clad woman in his arms, carrying a baby. The moment she saw me, she dropped to her knees, and I instinctively took a step back. What the hell? I wasn't some mob boss. I didn't sign up for this performance. She sobbed like she was auditioning for a tragic drama, mascara streaming down her face while I stood there, utterly baffled. She suddenly wailed louder. Alex Jeffrey. You lying bastard. You're a gay fraud. I bore your son, and now that I'm no use to you, you run off and marry a man? Keith Russell smiled smugly, barely concealing his glee. Brother, is this the kind of person you've married? For your own selfish desires, you married him, a man. Someone who reflects so poorly on our family and the company. You clearly don't care about the Russell name or its future. You have no right to manage anything in this family. Most of the guests were here to curry favor with Jaden and me, so no one dared echo Keith's accusations. And frankly, in circles like ours, very few cared if you were gay or even if you faked it to get ahead. But I couldn't let that narrative stand. If that really were my child, of course I'd acknowledge it. If she were really the mother, I'd acknowledge her too. But I had azoospermia. Medically speaking, there was zero chance I could father a child. This wasn't some low-probability issue, it was impossible. Besides, she wasn't even remotely my type. I'd dated so many women I couldn't remember half their names, let alone their faces, but I definitely never touched her. My sister stepped forward, expression dark. Keith, where the hell did you find this random woman? Coming in here and biting my brother like a rabid dog? Jaden, she snapped, is this how the Russell family treats my brother? You think we're nobodies? I sighed. She was just trying to protect me, thinking I was being bullied in this house. Truth was, I bullied Jaden more than he bullied me. Outside of the bedroom, anyway. I turned to the sobbing woman. Lady, I'm sterile. I can't have children. The room went quiet as I calmly dropped that bombshell. I didn't care about saving face. I just didn't want Jaden to misunderstand and start second-guessing things between us. The woman was so shocked she forgot to cry. Jaden, who'd been holding back a comment like, "It's okay, the kid can take my last name," swallowed his words. His eyes shimmered with something unreadable, maybe sympathy. My sister and brother both looked completely lost. In this world, admitting to sterility as a man was almost the same as announcing you were impotent. Most men with my condition blamed their partners and would rather die than admit it. I stepped toward Jaden and the woman, eyes landing squarely on the baby in her arms. Let's find out if that child is even hers. The bodyguards sprang into action. Sure enough, the baby wasn't hers either. Turned out it was an abandoned infant she'd bought for 5,000 yuan. She'd been using it for pity scams, playing the tragic mother to gain sympathy and handouts. And me? I was a womanizer who'd never planned to marry, let alone have kids. Jaden pulled me into his arms. Don't be angry, sweetheart. Let me handle it. He shot a frosty glare at Keith. Call the police. This woman's involved in child trafficking, and Keith Russell may be complicit. The butler nodded and made the call immediately. But Jaden wasn't done. Also, he added coldly, get the media involved. Let's make it clear that the Russell family has no tolerance for this kind of behavior. We don't protect criminals, even if they're family. Keith began to panic. Jaden's words might have sounded noble, but they left Keith with nowhere to run. But hey, he dug his own grave bringing in a scam artist with a criminal record. Keith and the woman were both taken into custody. Thanks to Jaden's push, they were convicted and fined. Robin and Tyler Russell completely lost face. They came back a few times trying to cause trouble, but I beat them down every time. Literally. I always wore fingerprint-proof gloves. They couldn't do a damn thing. My sister and her wife went abroad and officially got married. Two badass women off on a whirlwind tour of the world, for the nth time. Every trip lasted a year or more. My sister bought her wife houses in every country they visited. Whenever they got tired, they'd take a few days off. My brother, the poor guy. His husband wanted a baby. My brother thought they'd adopt. But no, his husband wanted him to carry it. No pregnancy, no peace. Every day was activity day. Men obviously can't get pregnant. I strongly suspect his husband just enjoys pounding him. Just yesterday I was laughing at my brother, and today, Jaden caught wind of it. He started coaxing me again. One more time, sweetheart. Just once more. Maybe we'll get lucky and have a baby. My whole body ached. I couldn't take it anymore. I kicked him off the bed. Men don't get pregnant. I wasn't going to play make-believe with him, and I certainly wasn't going to let him pretend I could be impregnated. But somehow, this lunatic was learning to double down and climb the pole I gave him. The end.
Thanks for stopping by. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.